players I love and hate in week one. Just to be clear, when I say I hate a player, I am not saying to sit them. What I'm saying is their upside is capped and they may not return on the value you think they will. For anybody new here, I do love hate every week to let you know which guys I'm really looking out for. Week one is tricky because we don't have previous weeks to go on. Last year's data is good, but defenses change, players change teams. So when I do this, I look at a few things. Vegas totals, the higher the Vegas total, the more likely more points are going to be scored in that game, trickling down to more players scoring points in that game. Same thing vice versa. If Vegas total is low, the odds that players are going to score a lot of points dramatically decrease. You can also look at player props on different things like DraftKings, Prize Picks to see where they're gauging players for that week. So let's start with the quarterback position. Quarterbacks I love in week one. Kyler Murray. I love that Kyler Murray is going up against the Buffalo Bills. It has a 47.5 point over under. That's the fifth most on the week. Kyler Murray clearly is going to use his legs, but now he has weapons. He has Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. I think that they get the job done, and I think he's going to put them on the map. Kyler Murray, watch out for the boy. Next up is Jared Goff with the highest over-under of the week with 52.5 points going up against the Rams. They don't have Sam Darnold, and when Jared Goff is not pressured, he is a much better quarterback. He's got the weapons, and I think he gets the points. Next up, Tua Tagovailoa. It's not cold, so he's going to sling it. He has the third highest over-under going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this is a back-and-forth affair where they're going to be putting points on the board. I think you can slide him in your lineup. And plus, he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. My man's going to be slinging it. I'd also like to mention the quarterbacks going up against these players. Trevor Lawrence should be forced to throw the ball. I think he's going to have a good game. As well as Matthew Stafford having two elite wide receivers. I think they get involved as well. Quarterbacks I hate this week. Joe Burrow. He just makes me nervous. Jamar Chase, are you going to play or not? T. Higgins, you have a hamstring injury. Are you going to get on the field? We could be looking at Joe Burrow throwing it to a bunch of nobodies. That makes me nervous. Not saying to sit him, but if he doesn't have his stars, I limit your expectations. It's also the second lowest team total of the week. Ugh. Next up, Dak Prescott with another low over-under. And it's not just the over-under that makes me nervous. The Cleveland defense is very good. And on top of that, CeeDee Lamb hasn't been at practice. Yes, I know they have a connection, but not enough symmetry. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I also don't think he's going to have to do a lot to win. I don't think the Browns are going to be very good. Just a great defense. Next up, Brock Purdy. I'm not saying the kid's not good, but that Jets defense is fierce. I am concerned about how he's going to be in the first game. He just got back all his weapons. He looked shaky during the preseason. If I don't have to start him, I'm not. Lastly, Justin Herbert. Very low over-under, and he lost all his wide receivers. I'd like to see what he can do without these receivers before I throw him in my lineup. Honestly, you're probably not starting him anyways, but if you were thinking about it, I'd probably go in a different direction. Look at these legs, though. He can move a little bit, but let's see him do it before he gets in our lineups. Moving on to running back. Running backs I love this week. James Cook going up against the Arizona Cardinals' terrible defense in a game that I think is going to be high scoring, and Vegas agrees. He's going to get the receiving work, and though I'm slightly concerned about the goal line carries, I think that turns around this year too. Next up, Alvin Kamara going up against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers don't scare you, and what you love about Alvin Kamara is the receptions. He is going to catch the ball. Alvin Kamara is a threat in the receiving game, almost like a wide receiver too. Who is their wide receiver too, by the way? Maybe Alvin Kamara. Next up is a two-pack. Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert. I think Devon Achane can always break a big play, and in a high over-under like this to start the year, it's going to be tough to deal with that speed. And I think Raheem Mostert is being dramatically underrated. He also has breakaway speed, and they're going to use him on the goal line. In a high over-under game, I want to get these guys in my lineup. Yes, please. Running backs I hate this week. Zamir White. He's in one of the worst games of the week with the lowest over-under, and he doesn't catch the ball, meaning He's going to have to get a touchdown to really return on value. If you have a better option, I'd start him. The Cowboys running backs I have on a wait and see right now. Until I see who's the number one, I'm really not trying to throw them in your lineup. And you drafted them low enough to where you don't have to start them this week. Plus, that Browns defense is actually really good. So if I don't have to start them, I'm not going to. Next up, DeAndre Swift. Honestly, this comes down to me just not trusting Swift. I'd like to see him get some work before I actually play him. I'm concerned about his workload. I'm concerned about the matchup, the offense. He's a wait and see for me. A lot of people had him pretty high. I was not one of those guys. Let's see how he does. You're not benching Ramondre Stevenson because he's probably going to be a low-end running back too, but I will say this. I think his upside is very limited. That over-under is extremely low. I think that offense is bad, and I think they'll be behind. What I want to see is, does he get the receiving work? Because that could keep him relevant. If he doesn't, it might be a long year for Ramondre. Also, Jerome Ford makes me a little nervous. That Cowboys defense is good. Wide receivers I love this week, my man Cooper Kupp. He has been slept on all offseason. He is the wide receiver one, and he's going to remind y'all why he's one of them ones. He's in one of the highest over-unders of the week, and I think the Lions are going to have a tough time keeping up with him. Cooper Kupp is about to remind some people what's what. I know you were starting him. Just look for that upside. Next up, Jalen Waddle with the second highest over-under of the week, going up against the Jaguars. Their corners don't scare me, and Waddle is quick enough to get it done. I think there's a lot of points in this game, and I'm trying to be a part of it. Waddle's going to remind people why he was a wide receiver one in 2022. Mike Evans gets to go up against a secondary that doesn't scare you in the Washington Commanders. Him and Baker have a connection. I expect to see him in the end zone. And in that same game, Terry McLaurin is going to finally have a quarterback that should be able to get him the ball. Terry McLaurin is easily the best receiver they have, and I think they're going to utilize him as much as they can. Give the kid a good option to throw it to. Terry McLaurin is a very good wide receiver. People just don't know about him because he's been on a terrible team with terrible quarterback play. I think that changes. Don't sleep on the greatness of Terry McLaurin. My man gets it done. Just got to get him the ball. Wide receivers I hate this week. Brandon Ayuk. No, I'm not saying you should bench Brandon Ayuk, but I'm concerned about the fact that he wasn't practicing, Brock Purdy's looked shaky, and that Jets defense is fierce. And is Sauce Gardner going to be shadowing him? Because that could be a problem. Sauce Gardner's one of them ones. I think Brandon Ayuk is a very good wide receiver. I just don't know if this is going to be his game. Same with Amari Cooper. I'm not benching Amari Cooper, but you should limit your expectations. Deshaun Watson is not looking good. And they go against the Dallas Cowboys, who's a great defense. Amari Cooper's going to get his, but I think his upside is definitely limited. Lastly, T. Higgins is making me nervous. Last minute hamstring. Right now he's doubtful. If he does play, is he going to actually be effective? T. Higgins has been known to say he's going to play, get in, and do nothing and basically play a couple snaps. So I don't really trust T. Higgins when he says he's going to play. This one makes me very nervous. Tread lightly. I'm not saying to bench him, but I am saying he makes me nervous. He's also playing on a franchise tag that he doesn't want to be on. Doesn't really have incentive to go out there and hurt himself any further. Does that come into play? Risky pick. A tight end I love, hate, and a sleeper. Give me Trey McBride. This man showed last year that he is an absolute beast, and he's not afraid to go down the middle. In a high over-under like this, where I expect the Arizona Cardinals to be slinging it, trying to keep up with the Buffalo Bills, look for Trey McBride to have a fantastic game. He's going to be the second target on this team. Book it. The tight end I hate is Brock Bowers. I need to see it to believe it. I don't like the offense. I think he's going to be the third target, and it's a low over-under. Why am I risking it in week one? And people sleep on Taysom Hill. He's going to get involved in the passing game, the rushing game, and he might even throw the ball. If you're desperate at tight end, Taysom Hill might be on your waiver wire. So those are my loves and hates for week one. So who did I get right and who did I get wrong? Which one of these players are going to outperform expectation? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the notification bell down below. If you do Pigskin Pick'em, I got some picks here, along with the rest of my week one comments. I can't wait to talk about these games and see where I hit and miss. Good luck this week. I'll see you soon, Bay Nation. Peace.